What's good in the hood, everybody? Welcome back to Truth Serum with your girl, Miss Jones. And let's talk about communication when it comes to the women's perspective in sex. So, a lot of the times, women have been raised to be stifled when it comes to sex in relationships. And again, this is not all. This is not me, stroking a broad pen across everybody, every woman, or anything like that. This is for those that it applies to. If it doesn't apply to you, don't take offense. It's not for you, right? A lot of times, women, and this is a topic that's usually not talked about, sex in relationships, specifically from the perspective of women. I posed a question earlier about why some women might view sex as a chore rather than a source of pleasure. And to really understand that, we have to unpack that shit. The heavy baggage of societal pressures that are often placed squarely on a woman's fucking shoulders when it comes to intimacy, sexuality, and all that good stuff. Think about it. From a young age, many girls receive subtle and shit, sometimes not so subtle messages about sex. We're often taught to be demure and mindful, to prioritize our partner's needs, and that our value can somehow be tied to our sexual history or perceived purity. The narrative often centers around the sexual narrative often centers around male desire, with female pleasure taking the back seat, even if it's acknowledged at all. I don't know about you, but I've been there, done that. And again, this is not every relationship that I've been in, but I've been in a relationship with someone, and the entire time that we are having sex, it's all about getting him to his point, and then once that's done, it's done. No follow up. No, like, hey, like, if I have to go grab the vibrator right after, then it's a problem, bro. It's a problem. And I'm not the only person that has happened to it. I'm sure men have had a situation where, they've had to go take care of themselves because they weren't satisfied after the sex. And that brings me to, we'll talk about that when it comes to communication a little bit later on in this topic. But think about this. From a young age, many girls are, literally told that you should be nice, sweet, the wife type. So don't be out here being all sexual, exploring no sexuality and doing all that stuff. You be what your man needs to be. You take care of his needs so that you can keep your man. That's what you're taught. So now, because of that, and we see it in the media, we hear it in conversations, even in well-meaning but outdated advice. The idea that a good woman is always willing, she always willing. Is she gonna do what I need her to do to make sure, the king is happy? That's what a good woman is. Let's be honest. If I tapped on my all the dude's shoulder right after that first one, you get off, it's gonna take you some time. You snoring right now. I'm gonna have to wait, if not until the next day. You're gonna need some recovery times. Are you always willing? But we're not even gonna talk about that because we'll get to that later when it comes to double standards. But the idea that a good woman is always willing, or that her enjoyment is secondary to her partner's satisfaction, this is the reason why. These things, these thoughts, you know, this type of thing can lead to a sense of obligation where sex becomes something a woman feels she has to do rather than something she wants to do. It breeds resentment, connect, and yeah, it can absolutely turn intimacy into a dreaded task. And I don't know who like tasks. I don't like nothing about a task sounds fun. Usually a task is something you have to fucking do. Because if it was something fun and joyful, you wouldn't have named it a task. Think about it. And then some women put their mindset, sometimes the things that have gone on in their life or the way they've been taught, sex is a task, which is the reason why they become disconnected. Maybe, it's not sexy anymore. It's just her getting in there, letting him do what he need to do and moving on. Faking that she sleep at night when he come in the room. Those type of things. Now let's get back to the double standards. Men are often applauded for their sexual experiences, while women can face judgment and labels for some of the same behaviors. Now you want a woman to come in and take care of you and give you the business. Wait a minute, let me fix it. The business. Okay. But you also want her not to be experienced, because if she know too much or she too good, you want to know who taught you that, where you get that from. Now I gotta answer fucking questions. Didn't nobody ask you who taught you that, where you get that from. So now the woman feels shame. So I'm not gonna do that no more. Let me just go in here and do what I gotta do and get it done and over with, because now I'm being judged. Now 2 hours later, he asking me, so you ain't never did that before. Again, prevents these type of things, weighs on a woman's mind and interrupts her sexual satisfaction mentally. And now she's disconnected. And now everybody got a goddamn problem. He cheating, he's straying, he don't know what's wrong with her. She don't give a damn. The whole relationship is downhill from there. And I know a lot of people can say, sex is not that important. Okay. You got to make sure that if sex is not that important to you, that you're in a relationship with somebody who feels the same way. Because if you don't, it is a problem waiting to happen. Again, we'll talk about that a little bit later when it comes to communication. So as we delve deeper into the topic, it's crucial to recognize the weight of these external forces, because only by acknowledging these pressures can we begin to dismantle them and pave the way for I would say, a more honest, equitable, and pleasurable sexual experience for women in their relationships. Again, this is not every woman, not every relationship. This has not happened to me in a relationship that I have been in, but it is a part of the problem and something that we don't discuss enough. And if you agree, if you disagree, whatever the case may be, post your comments. Let's talk about it. Anyway, up next, we'll be talking about the vital role of communication in navigating these complex issues. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Let's go ahead and wind this down. All of that being said, it brings us to the core of it. I truly believe that the absence of open and honest communication right from the fucking start is a major stumbling block for many relationships, especially when it comes to communications about sex and your love language. We'll talk about love language on another episode. When we shy away from discussing our sexual preferences, our individual needs, not wants, needs, like I need this. This is what I need. And what truly begins or brings us pleasure early on, we're setting a shaky foundation for the future. These unspoken desires and expectations can fester, leading to dissatisfaction, like resentment and cheating and all of the above, unhappiness. Everything else in the relationship might seem to be going great. But that one thing that you're not discussing when it comes to sexual intimacy, it's going to be a problem, because if y'all are not on the same page, somebody going to go open somebody else's book, baby. Let me tell you about it. All right. So speaking from personal experience, in some of my past long-term relationships, there was definitely a dynamic where expressing my wants in the bedroom felt complicated. That's what I'm gonna call it. It was as if my partner sometimes perceived my desires or something as something that I learned from somewhere else, making them feel hesitant or unwilling to explore those aspects with me, because now we got to have a whole conversation about it, or afterwards you feeling a certain kind of way, like we never did that before. Where'd that come from? Maybe I looked at the porno last night and saw it and I wanted to try. Why is it got to be a problem? I haven't asked you where you learned that little trick from. So can we just do this and keep it moving or not? Sometimes it's a not. Sometimes, back for me, it made me feel like, oh, extremely hesitant and unwilling to keep going. And honestly, it often felt very focused on their, or I'm just going to say his immediate pleasure, with little to no inquiry about what would truly satisfy me. I think that sometimes, and it could be both ways. Again, this is not just one-sided. I'm just speaking from a woman's perspective, my perspective, because I'm a woman. I can't speak for no man. I'm just going to speak on what I know. Sometimes you're so focused, men seem to be so focused on themselves that they think that because they have reached the orgasm that they have completed their job. And that is not true. That's just like going to work, clocking in, turning your computer on, opening up all the apps you need, and then walking out for the rest of the day. Where you gonna be able to do that at regularly without getting fired? I'm just saying. Or somebody else gonna go to your desk and open them apps. I'm just saying. Let me get back on track. The reasoning behind that, I can't say what that is on the man's side, but I can say that it stifles some women in the bedroom. And if they're stifled, then now it's just robotic. I'm just in here, I'm gonna do this. Let's just get it. Okay, boom, 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 we done. And if you are happy with that as a man, then shit, so be it. Be happy, my nigga. But if you wonder why it's like that and it's not popping and all of that stuff, then maybe, again, that's when both sides should be having an open conversation, because the woman should not continue, or women should not continue, and even men, like I said, should not continue, whoever the unsatisfied partner is, should not continue to go unsatisfied without having that conversation, because that conversation can also be a positive conversation. That conversation can change the trajectory of your sexual relationship with your partner, and then ultimately your full relationship will be better because of it. And then sometimes it won't go right. It's hard for a woman to tell a man if she's not being satisfied, because you can say what you want to say, but men can't take that. Some men can't take that. Like, it's gonna be a problem. He don't want to deal with you no more. Now you a bitch, you a hoe. Or, you must be cheating. Somebody else must be doing something. It's hard now. Man can say something to a woman like, I want you to do this, I want you to do that, and then it's okay. Teach me, daddy, teach me. That's what they want you to say. But mama sometimes got to teach you. Get your goddamn pen and a piece of paper and learn some here. I mean, it's okay. It's okay. But that is a part of some of the problem. You have to be able to speak on both ends. Both ends. Everybody has to be able to keep it real in order for you to keep it real. Okay? I'm telling you straight up. Knowing if you and your partner are on the same sex vibe is absolutely crucial for a happy and healthy, intimate life within your relationship. It's about understanding each other's desires, feeling comfortable expressing them, and being willing to explore and connect on a deeper level. And it's also okay for one side to say, nope, I don't want to do that, I won't do that. Then you figure out something else. You compromise on something. You figure out what you need to do. And if it's not a compromise, if you're too far apart, then maybe you've picked wrong. And again, people say, sex is not that important. We love each other. We can take care of each other. We can do this. That is all good in the hood until it's not. And then when it's not, the shit is hitting the fan. And if you're going to be real, you're going to be open and honest about it. This shit is important. Is it fixable? If both parties want to fix it, absolutely. But if you're on two completely different pages, and sometimes in two different books, then it's an end waiting to happen. Now, shifting gears for next week. Get ready for a fascinating conversation about how far we've come in the realm of sex and societal attitudes. I remember back in the day, certain things were just taboo. For women, even the thought of oral sex could earn you a nasty label. And trust me, if a guy even hinted back in the day, them teen years when I was in the teen, because I'm 54, baby, talking about suck your what? Baby, that is fighting words. It's going down. I'm telling my brother, we coming back up here and we kicking your ass. Okay? Now, shit. Things have certainly evolved, and we shall talk about them. Okay? And how things have become more accepted, even embraced by many women as a source of pleasure. Okay? Also, we'll be diving into the evolution of expression in music. Think back to those early hardcore explicit rappers who faced so much backlash for pushing boundaries. They were definitely blazing a trail. And look at today's landscape with powerful female artists owning their sexuality, like the Meg Thee Stallions, the Sexy Reds, the Cardi B's, the Lottos, all of the Doechis, all of that, and expressing it in their music and in image. Still to this day, they often face intense scrutiny. Little Kim and Foxy Brown were the shit, but the people talked about them so much because they talked about their own sexuality, because they showed their own bodies. Now, if they were in the background being video vixens, nobody said a word. The best videos in the world, the men, the male rappers talking about everything they want to do to a woman and what she can do to them, and not in polite terms. There was no demure anywhere in the video vixens or the women in the videos was popping, and I have no problem with them. None whatsoever. Asses out, twerking, bodies flowing, popping, everything, all of the above. Okay. Now you have the Meg Thee Stallions, again, the Cardi B's, the Lottos. You have all of them out here rapping the cash styles. You know, they're rapping about what they want sexually. What a motherfucker can do for them in the bedroom, showing their own bodies. But the only difference is they are the star. They're up front. And now it's a problem, people. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about that in them double standards on the next episode. It's all about the hypocrisy, people, the hypocrisy. So keep those thoughts coming. If you want your comments to be featured on our next episode, drop them below using the hashtag TruthSerum, MISS Jones. Let's keep the honest and open conversation flowing. Until next time, stay true to yourselves and keep those lines of communication wide open. Peace out, people.